Hi guys, it's Charles here with Charles Harrison Music. So in today's video I'm going to be covering a question I got in one of my live videos recently, which is about building new vocabulary. And I'm doing this one not only because I was asked it, but because it's something that I've been thinking about a lot in my playing recently. We all get sick and tired of hearing ourselves playing the same old lines, but actually you can take those same old lines and turn them into something new. Only you really, if you modify something enough, only you'll know where it came from. So we're going to take some well-known phrases today and I'm going to show you a couple of ways that you can change them. So there's a million ways you can take a phrase and change it up, but in this video I'm just going to cover three. The first one is transposition. Now on the guitar we are really a very easy transposing instrument because we can just play something down here and then play exactly the same thing a few frets higher and it has been transposed. The second one is modulation. Now modulation is when you stay in the position and you just morph the notes needed to fit in the new context, okay? So maybe you're playing over a minor chord with your lick and then you've got to play over a major chord next, and you can stay in position and only change the notes that need changing. And thirdly, you can transpose your modulated phrase, okay? So you can change it up and move it around the neck. So let's take a few familiar phrases and see how we get on. I'm going to start with the first phrase from Stairway to Heaven. I'm sure we're all familiar with that. So we need to know a little bit of theory to do this. However, if your ears can pick these notes out for you and you're not a theory thinker, if that works for you, that's absolutely fine. There's a big debate on the internet about whether we need music theory or not. I'm of the opinion that most people do. However, there's some great players who didn't really know what they were doing and they just played by ear. So if you think you fit into that category, absolutely fine. I certainly don't. I need to understand what I'm doing in order to be able to do it. So I know that if I'm on an A minor, then A is number 1. And all the other letters of the alphabet in sequence are 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then 8 would be number 1 again. Okay, there's no number 8. So I can take that same phrase, which was in A minor, and let's say I'm playing a song that's got a D minor chord in it. And I can go... So I've taken exactly the same phrase from Stairway to Heaven and moved it into a different context. Now doing that with very, very famous phrases, you're going to get caught out. Of course, someone's going to recognise that. But little phrases that people play all the time, little passing phrases, no one's going to notice. For example, something simple like... Okay? It's just a typical, stereotypical blues lick. You can get away with that in any key. So let's go back to A minor. And I'm going to now modulate this. Now, what does modulation mean? Well, modulation means changing notes to fit a new key, i.e. changing scale is another way to think about it. Remember, key and scale essentially mean the same thing. So I know I'm in A natural minor, which is the same as C major for this phrase. Now let's say that this wasn't over an A minor chord. Let's say this was over a major chord. Okay, let's start nice and simple. Well, I need to know the differences between a major and a minor scale. Or, again, stick with me and use those ears. Becomes... Okay, and that's now going to fit nicely over an A major chord. And it's already quite a bit different. People wouldn't necessarily recognise that as being Stairway to Heaven. Let's say we were in a different context. Let's say we were over an F sharp half diminished. Okay? Now on an F sharp half diminished, or any half diminished, I like to play the melodic minor a minor third above. So over F sharp, I would play A melodic minor. So I think, oh, well I know an A minor lick, but how can I change that into melodic minor? Well, what I need to do is raise the 6th and the 7th. F and G become F sharp and G sharp, okay? Melodic minor, a nice easy way to think about it, is a major scale with a flattened third. I can take that major version I've just played, and all I need to do is put that third back down to the minor version. Let's take a new lick. The Sweet Child of Mine opening solo. I need to know what I'm playing over there. E minor chord. Remember guys, to think theory, you need to know what chord you're playing over, because you need to know how a scale, the note of the scale and the notes of the chord interact. So I know I'm bending up to the 5th, back down to the 4th, minor 3rd, 2nd, root. Okay. So again, I could say I'm in the natural minor here. I could use this same phrase over a G chord. Okay? But let's say I want to play this over E major. Rather than E minor, I want E major. Well, it's currently in a minor phrase and I want it to be a major phrase, so I need to raise the 3rd. Okay, and then with the right bends. Yeah? So that's going to be a modulated phrase. Let's transpose that phrase. Let's play that same thing over B. Okay? People aren't going to recognise that as Sweet Child of Mine. You've just built some vocabulary. Okay. Very nice. I'll happily play that. Our final example here is Parisian Walkways. Now, the great thing about this tune is the way Gary Moore plays this phrase, he is going through the keys anyway. He's modulating and transposing as he goes. So this is our theme. I think we're in the key of D minor for this one. Okay, now that's just tune. Now he just bent from a G up to an A to start that phrase. So he's now going down a tone, F to G. Okay, then as if that wasn't enough, he does the same thing again. Same thing again. Slightly different ending there. It's absolutely genius this, because it's one phrase played 4 times over. Listen. So let's finally talk through what he's actually doing here, what the chords and scales are. So we start on D minor and G minor, that's the first phrase. Minor and minor. However, the next phrase is C major to F major. So all of those notes there have been moved down a tone, and he's making sure that he's only playing the notes of the key, F major. Then B flat to E half diminished. A7 to D minor. So you're taking that same phrase and moving it down. That's a really brilliant example of this, but there's hundreds and hundreds of very famous tunes where really they're only one phrase moved about. So have a crack at that yourself, guys. Now I'm not expecting you to actually sit down and learn the examples I've done today. They were just off the top of my head because I assume most people are going to know at least one of those examples and can sort of get their brain thinking. But take a phrase that you play all the time. It could be the simplest phrase in the world, and then ask yourself, well, how would I play this over a major chord? How would I play this over a minor, or a diminished, an augmented, a half diminished, whatever you're playing over? which notes would I need to change, and most importantly, which ones don't I need to change, because actually you can do an awful lot of damage just staying in one area on the guitar, and people will think you're playing some absolutely outrageous lines, but really all you're doing is changing one or two notes at a time. Hope you found that useful, guys. Please do click that like and subscribe button. Plenty more content coming up as always. Try and catch me in a live video at some point if you want to ask any specific questions, or leave a comment down below and I'll try and tackle those in another video. Look forward to seeing you in the next one. Cheers!